In her 2023 book, Marcia Inhorn, a medical anthropologist at Yale University, coined the term mating gap to describe how it's men rather than women who are to blame for the unstoppable decline in the overall population, with economic crisis predicted if it continues. Hey gang, and welcome back to the hollowed halls of Magic's monologue. Magic here, your curator of personal growth and the sage keeper of the keys to today's tome of wisdom and knowledge. Today's video, are we men to blame for the UK fertility crisis? Spoiler alert, nope, and here's why. But before we begin the journey, hey there, friend, let's start the show. But here's a stat I think you should know. 82% of you stop by, but don't subscribe. My oh my. So here's my ask. It's quick and it's free. Smash that button and show love to me. Ring the bell, it's quite the deal. And I'll bring you content that's got appeal. All right, so are we men to blame for the UK fertility crisis? Well, let me tell you why not. Welcome to the latest episode of Blame Men for Literally Everything. Yeah, this article focuses on the UK, but don't get too comfortable, my fellow Americans, since some of the dynamics play out over here too. So buckle up, fellas, and any ladies that's listening, because we're about to tear into this nonsense and have a fun time doing it. Today's headline topic is courtesy of the Daily Mail, whose article asks, are men to blame for the UK fertility crisis? Women want children, but are forced to freezing their eggs due to the mating gap, where they can't find a partner to commit. Wow, that is one hell of a title. That's right, birth rates are nosediving. Egg freezing has become trendier than the hashtag hot girl summer. And apparently, it's all on us men. They even brought in Yale anthropologist Marcia Inhorn into the fray. She's coined the term for the phenomenon, the mating gap, where our supposed commitment issues are condemning women to fertility limbo. But here's a question for the ladies spouting this nonsense. Do you honestly believe we're the problem here? Not the sky-high standards, the toxic dating culture, or the media pushing careerism and independence over family? Really? All right, guys. Let's break this thing down with some brutal honesty, sarcasm, and some facts. Why the blame game is an absolute joke? First off, let's clear the air. Men haven't just woken up one day and collectively decided to stop dating or starting families out of laziness or fear of commitment. No, we men are logical creatures. And unlike women, we adapt to our environment. Unfortunately, the modern dating world, heavily influenced by F-inst and social media, here's how. 1. Women's obsession with chads create this mess. Look, blaming men for the fertility crisis is like ignoring women's dating behavior is like blaming the goalie for a soccer team's loss while ignoring the strikers who can't shoot straight. For us Americans, I think of it as blaming the quarterback while ignoring the wide receiver who can't catch a pass if his life depended on it. The truth, women overwhelmingly pursue the same tiny group of men, the so-called chads. You know, the guys in the top 20% who have it all, looks, height, status, bank accounts, you name it. Meanwhile, the rest of us, Hardworking regular guys, who make up the other 80%, are practically invisible to these women. The stats do not lie. According to online dating platforms, women swipe right only 30% of male profiles, while men swipe right on 60% of female profiles. Worse still, 80% of women chase after the top 20% of men. However, there is now data to suggest it's now more like 10% of men, leaving everyone else to fend for the scraps. So is it any surprise when the majority of guys bow out of this ridiculous game altogether? The odds aren't just bad, they're rigged. It's not a meat market, it's a slaughterhouse. Let's not forget that Chads and Tyrones have unlimited options for women. So why would they commit when they can date more women anytime on their terms? As I like to point out, women want Chads to commit. But why would any guy who can have it all ever settle down? He doesn't have to. And what do these women do? Proceed to chase them again and again and again, expecting different results. Or they will be the exception to the 20 other women before them, all the while complaining about a lack of good men, while ghosting perfectly solid dudes in pursuit of their impossible ideals. The irony here is comedy gold. 2, unrealistic expectations are driving men away. Today's women aren't looking for men. They're looking for the mythical creatures, tall, six-figure earning Adonis, who are emotionally perfect and love unconditionally while demanding zero accountability. Anything less? Swipe left. Now, I should point out, not every woman. I'm speaking in larger trends. The necessary disclaimer. The Daily Mail even quotes a woman explaining why she's freezing her eggs. "It's not looking great out there," she said. "I don't want to settle. I want to raise my bar even higher." Higher? Higher than what? If you're already priced yourself out of the dating market chasing perfection, how much higher can you even go? That's like raising a flag on a sinking ship. Is it just me, or am I the only one who can see the delulu in her? If you can, type down in the comment section, "She's delusional," and let's fire up the algorithm. Social media only fuels this madness. Instagram filters, curated lifestyles, and endless praise reinforces the illusion that women deserve a fantasy partner who doesn't exist. Look, I think most of us men see the game for what it is, a losing battle, and many of us have stepped away. After all, why sign up to compete in something you know you're destined to lose? To quote the computer character Joshua in a 1984 film, War Games.
"Greetings, Professor Falcon."
Hello, Joshua.
"Strange game. The only winning move is not to play."
3, F-inst, or the womanist movement, I have to say it that way because of YouTube, not so great of a legacy, huh? It started out with equality, a great and noble cause, but has morphed into something toxic. Modern F-inism doesn't uplift women, it demonizes men. It's convinced women that men are unnecessary, until those biological clocks start ticking louder than Big Ben. Of course, by then, the damage is done. Author Suzanne Venker put in her book, The War on Men in 2013, Feminism has taught women to see men as the enemy. Higher education, careerism, and delaying marriage have been sold as empowering, but the result is millions of lonely, single women. Guess what? Venker is dead right. The movement has created 3 generations of women who reject relationships and then panic when they realize they actually wanted one all along. 4. Marriage has become a raw deal. Let's not ignore one of the biggest reasons men are backing off from commitment: divorce laws. Women initiate 50 to 60% of divorces. So, tell me again, who's the sex with commitment issues? Let me say that again. Women initiate 50 to 60% of divorces, and the courts overwhelmingly favor women in custody battles and alimony arrangements. In other words, they get rewarded with cash, prizes, attention, and validation most of the time. For us, marriage is no longer a partnership. It's a high-stakes gamble. Commit, and you're potentially looking at losing half your earnings and limited access to your kids if things go south. The odds of success are worse than winning a hand at blackjack in Las Vegas on a table with 8 decks face down, which is roughly 42.22%. Think about this. Why would we invest in a woman who's going to be the mother of our children and our wife with a 50 to 60% chance of divorce, failure, and you getting bent over by the family court system? Go ahead. Tell us we should man up and bend over one more time. 5. The rising cost of love. Raising a family isn't just emotional, it's a financial endeavor. And the UK, like many parts of the world, is expensive. Housing prices are through the roof. Child care is a luxury, and wages aren't keeping up. Why would any man rush to start a family when it feels like an economic suicide pact? Even the Daily Mail acknowledges this, quoting experts who cite raising costs of living expenses as a significant barrier to fertility rates. But do policymakers address this? No. It's easier to just blame men for not being stupid enough, blindly pony up. Listen, ladies, this crisis isn't solely on us. Women have played a bigger part in this outcome. Society sold women the dream that they can have it all: career, lifestyle, and a family without compromise. But biology is an unforgiving thing. Fertility drops sharply after 30, and by chasing corporate ladder success, many women sacrificed their most fertile years. Modern dating culture normalizes undefined relationships and casual hookups. Women dive into these situationships hoping they'll blossom into marriage. Spoiler alert, they usually don't. Then they blame men for not committing. So let's talk about egg freezing, and it's the illusion that they're creating for you. Egg freezing has been touted as a cure-all, but the reality isn't so rosy. Success rates drop after the age of 35, and plenty of women find themselves heartbroken when science doesn't deliver. One expert even put it bluntly: fertility treatments doesn't overcome aging. It only delays the inevitable. So, are we men to blame for the fertility crisis? No, not even close. This isn't a male problem. It's more of a female and society problem. Toxic dating culture, unrealistic standards, broken family laws, and economic realities have all contributed to this mess. I will say, I know where men are to blame. We became the kings in the land of Simperstan and allowed these changes to happen to our detriment. Perhaps it's time for men to collectively stand up and say, enough. This social experiment is over. Society is collapsing, and it's time to bring back masculine order and the spiritual concept of masculine containment. Yes, some women will deliberately misinterpret what I just said as, oh God, he wants to bring back the patriarchy and enslave us all. If that's what you think I said, then you're a fool, and in actually proving the point I was trying to make and why I said it. Ladies, before you freeze those eggs or write another angry op-ed blaming us for your woes, take a long, hard look at your choices. Collectively, most men know we're in this together. Fixing the fertility crisis is going to require mutual accountability, realistic expectations, and I dare say, a willingness for women to compromise. At the end of the day, the real question isn't, are men to blame? It's what legal, social, and cultural changes we need to make to fix it. If you found value in this channel, then help a brother out by doing 3 things. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with at least 3 friends who need to learn from this channel. Confession is good for the soul and this channel, so send me your personal relationship stories to share, or if you see an article online you think I should cover, send the link to stories@magicsmonologue.com. If you have a moment, subscribe to my Locals, Rumble, X, Getter, or Gab for future politically incorrect content, which I'm sure this platform would definitely not appreciate. Through this, you're leading by example, encouraging other men to rise higher, and ensuring that you live a life of passion, purpose, and prosperity. If you're on YouTube and want to watch another video like this one, then click here and watch the pregnancy lie that exposed a toxic relationship. Otherwise, if you can't wait for my next new video, then click on one of these right now and watch another. Know the risks, play the game wisely, and I'll see you in the winner's circle.